What's up, what's going on, legends? It's your boy Errl Shatter here, and in today's video, we're playing some Black Ops Cold War. Today, we're going to be talking about some pro player tips and tricks that are overall extremely useful, so you guys are going to want to make sure you stay tuned through today's video and capture all of those. Now, before we jump into the rest of the content, if you guys do enjoy this video at any time, or you find this helpful in any way, make sure you show your support for the channel by going down below and smashing that like button. Let's go ahead and throw a goal of 30 likes on today's video. As well as, if you guys want to find your way back to the channel for more Cold War content, make sure you guys do hit that subscribe button alongside that notification bell so we can see you in future videos. So like I said, we're covering some pro player tips and tricks. The pro player tips and tricks that I'm going to be sharing with you guys today come from pro player Shotzi as well as Apathy. So I'm going to do them a solid, give them some credit by putting their links down in the description below. So if you guys haven't followed or subscribed to them and you guys do enjoy their content, make sure you guys do hit that subscribe button over on their channels also. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into these pro player tips. So the first tip that we're going to be taking a look at today is going to involve ladders. Now, movement is absolutely crucial in Call of Duty. If you guys haven't figured that out yet, it's definitely something you should focus on improving at. And these little tips today are definitely going to help you as well. So this first one, like I said, we're looking at involves ladders. You know, many times you go up a ladder, we're going to actually do it here. You go up, it's really, really slow. It gives somebody an opportunity to be at the top being aimed down sight and just easily take you out. And you don't have any way of really kind of getting back at them because you're still in an animation of climbing up a ladder. So this first trick here is actually really, really useful. So if you go over to the ladder, you're going to want to make sure when you get about halfway up this, you're going to want to jump again. So we're going to go ahead and jump on the ladder, and then we're going to jump again. And as you see, you climb right up, and it's extremely fast. I mean, again, let's do it without it. Climbing up, fairly slow. You're still in the animation as you come up. You can't really shoot as quick. Whereas, again, going up, jump again, and you're up there immediately. One more time. Jump again, you're up there immediately. It really cuts down on the time you spend on the ladder, allowing you to get up there quicker, maybe catching people off guard, or overall just maybe catching people on the flank. Either way, this is an extremely useful tip, and I think you guys should go out there and try it out. All right, so the second tip that we're going to be talking about today involves repelling. So for those of you who've been playing this game or play it often enough and do this, you guys know how slow this is. You get stuck in an animation, takes you a while to get to the top, and not even just that, once you hit the top, you're still kind of stuck in an animation long enough where it takes forever to aim down sight. So let's imagine there's people up here. Chances are if you're stuck in an animation, they're going to eliminate you quickly. So there's actually a tip that you can do to kind of skip that animation, and that's what we're going to cover here real quick. So what it basically happens is you're going to jump on, start repelling. You're going to hold down on your right thumbstick, and when you get towards the top, roughly about where this platform is, you're going to start spamming the jump button, and it's going to allow you to launch off the top and basically skip the whole animation period. It's kind of like a weird bunny hop. It's almost like it bunny hops you out of the repel. So we're going to go ahead and try to do a couple of examples of this so that way you guys know what you're going to be looking for. I highly suggest you guys go out there and try to practice this a little bit because this could be a very useful tip in general. So let's go ahead and give this a couple shots here. We're going to go ahead and start repelling. We're going to hold down on our right stick. As soon as we get to the top, boom, we launched out, and that was perfect. That's exactly what I was hoping for. We launched right out. We were able to aim pretty instantly. It does throw you almost over the stairs, which is kind of cool. And let's go ahead and see if I can do this again, and hopefully we can pull it off again. Again, something you got to practice, so. All right, let's go ahead and do this again for another example. Hold down. Oh, that was a bad example. So that's how you know you didn't do it right. You started pushing your jump button too early. So I'm going to go ahead and try to get another example of this for you guys. You guys can see exactly how it works again. We're going to repel, hold down on the right stick, jump, and bam, we got it. That is a very useful tip. You're going to be able to launch out of those repels and challenge people as quickly as possible. Extremely useful. I think the ladder tip is also extremely useful. Combined, these are two things that I don't think most people know. So hopefully these help you out. So the third tip that we're going to be talking about today involves slide canceling. Now, of course, if you guys have been part of the last couple of titles, you might understand what this already means. But for those of you that don't, it allows you to basically cancel your slide at any time, so that way you're not caught in a position where you aren't able to shoot. Sliding isn't the most efficient way to kind of come at people, so it's good to be able to have this as a tactic in case you find yourself in a weird position where you need to come out of a slide. It's also really good for moving around the map. I mean, if you just kind of do this, you can just kind of slide around. Essentially what you're doing is slide, and then jump. Slide, and jump. So what you're kind of continuing your movement, because if you do a slide, let's see, we do a regular slide. You can see how long it is. Boom, pretty long slide, right? This allows you can slide for a millisecond if you really wanted to. You can slide for a long period of time, like regular slide. But if you need to come out of it, you hit that slide button again, and then you kind of stand back up, and you're ready to go. There is also a new slide cancel, which we're going to cover over here real quick. And that's going to involve sliding, aiming down sight, and then jumping. And that's going to allow us to basically, kind of get the sprint out time a little bit quicker. Because if you guys are sliding, somebody that's jump shotting you, possibly drop shotting you, is definitely going to have the advantage, since you're going to be trying to come out of an animation, which is the slide. And they've kind of purposely designed it to not give you a huge advantage, because they kind of felt like it was broken before. So what essentially it's going to look like is we're going to slide, we're going to aim down sight, we're going to jump. We're going to slide, aim down sight, jump. And it allows us to kind of come out of that a little bit quicker. And it's definitely useful. So slide, aim, jump. Slide, aim, jump. And you kind of come out. Slide, aim, jump. Doesn't matter how long you're in that animation. And it's very, very useful. This could help you win some gunfights. But overall, that's slide canceling for you guys. So we're going to go ahead and move on to our next tip. All right, so the fourth tip that we're going to be taking a look at today is a fairly useful tip. It's going to be a little more challenging depending on what button layout you're playing on, essentially, or then maybe you have a Scuff or Astro or Battle Beaver, some of those, alternate controllers that have the buttons on the back. Right now, I'm using a PS5, so I had to part ways with my controller for now until they come out with something for the PS5. But essentially, what's going to happen here is we're talking about crouch shotting. So while you're running around shooting people, blah 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 blah, you're getting into gunfights. People are always going to have like pretty much an even chance at a gunfight, especially if you're playing somebody sweaty. In the terms that we're talking about pro player tips here. So what's going to happen here is you're going to want to kind of crouch. By doing that, essentially, you're going to be throwing off the other person's aim. So like, you're going to get into a gunfight, you're going to ADS, and then you're going to start kind of spamming crouch while you shoot them, and it's going to overall probably make them miss some shots and possibly give you an advantage that you need to kind of stay alive. It's not a guarantee it's going to be perfect every time. There's going to be chances where they're going to end up hitting a headshot or whatever. But I think that if you spam a little bit of that while you're shooting, it's definitely going to throw the average player off, or at least their aim a little bit. And there's a good possibility you can still survive the gunfight. Definitely a useful tip. I think that it's very underused. I don't see a lot of people using it, and it's probably something that could definitely help them improve. All right, so this last tip that I want to share with you guys is something that's a little bit less known, I think, but maybe it's more obvious to some players. And if you're not using this, definitely utilize it. So obviously we know that if we want silent movement here in Black Ops Cold War, that we want the Ninja perk. However, when you're sprinting around, it's going to be faint, but you can definitely still hear people running with Ninja. It's not going to be 100% as loud as it was, but it's definitely going to be hearable. Now, if somebody's got a good headset, or obviously they turn their sound way at too high, they're going to be able to hear your footsteps running around Ninja. So how do you kind of fix, that aspect? Well, essentially what you're going to do is, and this is kind of a weird thing to want to, promote, if you're crouched using Ninja, it's going to greatly suppress the amount of sound. You still move fairly quick. I wouldn't say this is as fast as you would like. It's not a sprint by any means, but it is, although still hearable, it's so faint, it's super unlikely that a player is going to actually catch on and even bother you at all. You're going to actually put yourself in a really good position, especially if you're playing like S&D, and you're like the last one left. Like, this is much quieter than this. Even if you have Ninja on. Ninja's supposed to make you silent. It doesn't make you completely silent. Therefore, you can actually still hear the footsteps. So if you're playing against really good players, obviously they're going to be using, again, good headsets, and that's going to be putting you at a disadvantage because they're going to hear you regardless if you're using Ninja. Does it help? Yes. But is this more useful? Probably. So just keep in mind, if you are walking around, if you keep crouched like this, especially using Ninja, you're basically as close to silent as possible. You're not 100% silent again, but you are pretty dang close. Like, I could barely hear my footsteps at all. Whereas sprinting, I can 100% still hear them. They are very faint, but they are still hearable. But that's going to wrap things up for today's video. Here are some tips and tricks that the pros are using, whether it's movement or just in general, and I think they will overall help you guys improve, and they are all very, very useful. So that's going to wrap things up for today's video. Like I said earlier, let's go ahead and smash that like button, hit that goal of 30 likes, hit that subscribe button if you're new and want to find your way back to the channel for more Cold War content. And last but not least, don't forget that notification bell so that we can see you in future videos. Appreciate you guys for all the support in today's video, all the support on the channel. Hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.